Hi there, everybody. It's Linda Morrison from The Art of Listening, Ageless Goddess, and Ageless Business. I'm super, super, super happy here to be doing series two of The Art of Listening. We've actually gone into the room with quite some incredible people whom help many around the world. And we've come into the room uh, to around the world. Yesterday I think I was to Wollongong, to Gold Coast, to Miami in Florida, and then upstate, right up the way to Boston, then back to Melbourne. And then today I'm with Deb. I know she's northern of me in Melbourne here. So, Deb King, so welcome so much to the Art of Listening. This has come about really because I became a little bit despondent about some of the marketing that was out there that became quite vacuous, repetitive, and also actually just copied and pasted what was not probably authentically the business owner's stuff or any of their stuff. And so I've come back into the room with some really, really great people who help people across the world. And they've gotten good, and we're speaking in and around the art of listening, conscious communication. And we're talking a lot about that and how it's just helped many of the people progress in their careers, but also get really good at how they help others as well. So, Deb Kim, welcome so much. What do you do and who do you help?
Thank you so much, Linda. What a treat to be on the receiving side of someone listening to me. I'm really honored. Thank you. And great series that you've created. I'm in Sydney and I am working with coaches and healers and people who have wisdom to change people's lives and businesses. And we support them in growing a thriving business because sadly, the majority are not. And we have uncovered some really unique research that shows coaches what most of them haven't been taught. So it's very cool stuff, and it's a calling. And yeah, I'm really excited to share more with you how we got here.
Excellent. I really, really thank you for doing that work. Obviously, as I say to when I'm coaching business, it's like, you're not a coach unless you're coaching someone. So what are you doing? And, how do you get it out there? And our front end marketing and our communication on the front end is not really what we're delivering on. Well, it's not true. It's not fully, obviously, what we deliver on the back end. And it takes a lot to be a personal brand. Can you speak into a little bit about being good at listening to make all that mesh and happen for people? It's going to take more than probably a couple of minutes, but you can speak a little bit into that because. Yeah, well, my front end marketing is not me, and it's also not all that we do, but it's a communication step. Yeah.
Yeah, marketing's an interesting topic, and I love that that's actually what's inspired you to do this because there's so much more depth behind what's delivered. But we need to meet people where they're at, what they're looking for, and care about and willing to pay money for. And that's what the marketing needs to speak to, right? So we can then take people on the journey to achieve whatever it is that they're desiring. Regarding listening, it's such an important topic. And I love that you've called this the art of listening. I discovered, well, I thought I was a good listener, and I discovered in 2003 that I wasn't as good as I thought. It was my very first life coaching course, and the way that active listening got taught actually blew my mind. I was reflecting before we had this conversation, thinking, I don't even remember the guy's name who trained it. I can't even remember exactly the process he took us through, but I remember being completely blown away by what true active listening is, and then have been on a journey to witness the power of when we really listen, and that most people are just waiting for their turn to speak. They're not actually really listening. And I love the whole saying of we have two ears and one mouth and we need to use them in that proportion.
Yeah, uh, correct. And also, there's a little, yeah, so yeah, the art of listening or conscious listening takes effort. And I don't know. that we get any better. Well, I don't know that now that we know more, as in we have more information, that it's made us better listeners. I think the opposite, which is probably why I've done this series where we've spoken to nearly 70 people on this interview block, if you like, since November. I don't know if people have got better at knowing how to be good at listening, just because they got more information. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, I don't feel it's about information. It's a practice. It's an experience.
yeah,
It's about being present. It and in
yeah.
a world where we're constantly distracted, there's so much noise. There's so much information. So much everything. Um, it takes a conscious choice to be present and truly listen. And each time we notice we're not, we can bring ourselves back. We can always refresh. However, it won't happen by accident.
No, it's effortful and it takes work. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, probably would say for me, I don't feel like I'm being like in effort. Like it's not hard. I love it. So but it is a choice to be present, and it's very easy to not be present. So it's kind of, it requires the focus and choice of being in the space and um, living it.
Well said. I suppose when I say effortful, it's bucking the trend at the moment where everything's been applied. So you turn on your phone and you get information and and then even people want to be shorter on the phone. And you have to, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but you sometimes need to make phone appointments to talk to your friends now. Things like that. Like interesting, isn't it? We used to be able to just call our friends, but not now. It's phone appointments to talk to our friends. That's all kind of come about. But the art of listening can happen in so many nuances. So I suppose that the work that you get to do with people is that they come to you with a problem. That's how business occurs in the private world, all the worlds. People come to you with a problem. They need a solution. Sometimes the problem that they think that they have is not really the problem. It's something close, perhaps, if they know their business well, or they want you to take away their problem. So you've got to read between the lines. Can you give an example of any of that? Because we've got lots of entrepreneurs who follow all of my business stuff, but I find this quite fascinating. So if someone can take away part of my problem, I'd be really super, super happy with them. But actually, it's only part of what I want them to take away that I'm actually trying to communicate. Does that make sense?
Because we don't know what we don't know. We only know that pain point, right? So if I use an example of our clients who are coaches, they typically get in an endless struggle vortex and what we call the false hope highway. So they're constantly going to another certification or a marketing course to try and solve the problem of getting clients and creating more money and a successful business. What we've discovered is that sadly, only 1% of coaches are truly thriving in their business and making over 100 grand or more, which is a really tiny amount, which we'd love to change.
Mm.
And what we worked out is many of them have not been taught the right stuff, and they're trying to do all these marketing things and everything that is too soon, not the right time. Like, the amount of bombardment of advertising saying make six figures in 24 hours and all these different ways of doing this and doing that. And clearly it's not working because very few coaches are having thriving businesses. So what we have uncovered is actually a path for them to follow in terms of understanding their unique body of wisdom and unpacking that into positioning themselves as experts. So they're really showing up clearly and powerfully in their zone of genius. And then they speak to their audience in a way that connects with what the audience cares about.
Got it.
is what the language the audience is using about their problems or desires and what they're willing to pay for. Now, that's only a tiny fraction. That problem is a tiny fraction of what that coach knows they can help them solve. But we need to meet them. So the perfect one example, we've worked with mum coaches. Mums may have been through all these challenges with, the journey of being a mum, find their whole kind of so empowered by personal development and all these things that they want to decide to help mums with because they wish mums don't have to go through the same challenges as them. But we've seen it where mum coach will be kind of trying to sell a dream life to a mum, but the mum in the challenge has many challenges that the coach could help them with, but they're not going to pay for it. However, if the mum coach then changes it to something that's going to benefit their kids, now they're going to start talking to a message that it's the problem the mum thinks they have, but then can go on the journey with all the other problems.
Yeah, got it. Love it. Well, I love all that stuff because it's literally like pulling together a puzzle that the end has all the pieces, but it takes time to get the puzzle together. Also, um, with these personal brands, it came up in a couple of my discussions this week, is that with these personal brands, you've got ego and judgment, and it's usually the principal person in the business, the owner, putting judgment on themselves that they go, "Ah, I couldn't possibly put that marketing out there, or that's just not me, and I'm not so sure about that." And one of my favorite things that I teach people is that you are not your marketing. Your marketing is not for you. You're already, as you said before, not in that space anymore or never have been. You're here. So, how do you use the art of listening to actually perhaps help massage that reality in? Because you're not talking to dumb people. They're really good. They're in the room. They're not dumb people, but they just need to hear it in a way that they understand it. And also, what I absolutely know is if you've got a mentor, a coach, a organization in your room that can actually bolster you a little bit while you're going through a transformation of business, if you're a personal brand of some kind, or even if you've stepped back and it's in the medium to high level brand, you're still right there. Um, how are you using that? Because I find that's the most difficult thing, both personally, and I'll be completely raw, rare, and honest. That's the hardest thing when I ascend to the next level. And so far, I can jump millions myself, but actually, before it's happening is when I need some holding. Does that make sense? And I'm listening too much even to the distractors before I take the leap. But then I need to be held. Um, Also, I've got athletes in my family. My son's an athlete, but that's the same thing as well. You're an Australian champion. Now you're going to be Olympic champion. Now you're going to be yeah. So it's not just exclusive to women or business or anything. Just,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
there's a few things you said there. I think one of the things that was a real aha for me was the problem is we think we shouldn't have problems. So each time we solve a problem, there's another problem, right? So
Yeah.
like you go to a level and then there's the next expansion to take or next upgrade, and there's going to be some. I wish it was different, but typically to grow, there's some discomfort because we're moving out of our comfort zone. I used to think it all could be joyful. I think on some level it's joyful, but often it's not like that much, But the listening piece is so important at all levels. The more we're listening, well, to ourselves, listening to our clients, like listening just brings value to every stage of that.
Yeah.
And when you talk about personal brands, well, in general, most of us, we need to consider that because we're all a personal brand, even if we're not in a business. Like we are and
Well said.
personal brands are more attractive than a company brand. So it's really worth thinking about who are we really, and how do we want to shine our light in the world and make the difference we want to make. And we can actually co-create such magic, so much possibility right now. It's such fascinating times. I think wherever we are right now, there's an opportunity to like totally create what we want from here.
Yeah. I'll often say that about my marketing. What can I do right now? And that's probably why I've got 20,000 videos floating around the internet, me sprouting off something. But basically, what can I do right now? Because it's more complex for me to, I always write before I go to video, but it's a sketch because I already know it fully. But then I go back to, then I say it on video, even if it's private video, by the way, for those out there who don't want to go live or don't want to put it anywhere, just go to your own phone. So I say it as if I was telling my best favorite people in the room. And then I go back to what I've written and I get it right. And then I go from there. And it's not always new, but it's profound if I say it on video because people can be in the room at that moment listening to it. Then they can also read it if they're more, visual with the way that they actually learn. But this is the beauty of this thing, and probably why I didn't make this business I have now when I was 18, but I can now.
Yeah, but I love your approach to things, Linda. Like you just kind of let's do this. Like you had a structure, but without like it had to be a certain way, and magic's unfolding because you've just done so much of this that um yeah, it being in action creates the momentum that gives the next steps, and we will never get everything perfect before we take action. Like the only way to really progress is to get in action and momentum. So I think you just really live that in a powerful way, and it's such a great thing because I know that you're very happy for this not to be perfect as such as a polished perfect, but I think that that's what's more attractive because we're all real humans. Even now in this age of AI, being real is so important.
100%. Yeah. So yeah, it's I suppose accessible and doable and all of the things. And yeah, so as a student, I suppose at school and university, and I've got, different degrees and whatever, they let me in, once upon a time. Uh, but I'm a B plus to an A minus. I'm not a HD at uni. I'm not, but I didn't need to be. I didn't need to be. And I think this is the whole thing. I was judged that, are you gonna go to uni? Oh my God. Oh, you're gonna do that. Oh my God. And it was like a shock to everybody. There was no encouragement. There was no one really, wasn't discouragement. It was a little bit like, oh, she thinks she's so good, she's going to uni. And it was weird, totally weird, completely different to what kids have got now. Like, go to uni, go to uni, go to uni. So the point being is that imperfect action, you're going to get judged anyway. Perfect action, once you get it right, you'll be judged anyway. It's all right for you. It's all right for you. It doesn't matter. The point is that you keep on moving forward, but also putting people alongside you who are your entourage, your hype girls, your people, your mentors, your whatever you want to call them. But also they've got the highlight reel as to what you probably should do and focus on. Because in this day and age, you can't be everywhere doing all things. And the other thing is, not all AI is your friend. It was trying to tell me to call my friend Anna, spelled with a B, the other day. And I'm like, AI ain't taken over the world yet. You know, I still got this, I still know, no, it's Anna. There's two letters in that whole word, and it's a name. But anyway, but here's the thing is that back yourself a little bit and also get some good people in the room that are listening, truly listening to what you got.
And you make a great point. It's likely you'll be judged no matter what you do, And how amazing will the world be if we could all just let go of a bit of judgment, including judging ourselves? That's like the key, right? If we could know that we're just here to have experiences and we make things right or wrong, we give the meanings. If we can create powerful meanings for everything, celebrate everything, be grateful for everything, my goodness, it
Oh, yeah.
very transformative in terms of getting out of our own way to take more imperfect action and learn and grow and have fun with it, really. I think that there's so much possibility to have more fun.
Yeah. Well, thank you for saying that. And that's what I truly believe is that we're happy to do the work and everyone's really just like looking for the space where they get to have more fun. So you may as well have fun with some of your work. Sometimes it's called work or labor for a reason, but, but there's other bits that truly, yeah, give you the gold. And yeah, and listening in, looking after yourself, like still having, a true vibe with people who can stay in the creative room with you because all this technology is not meant to drag you down. It's actually meant to be a tool to get you to where you're wanting to go and where you want, all these businesses that you get to work with, Deb, where they need to go and then where they want to ascend to. So it's not meant to drag you down. The other thing I worked out very, very early on is just to make peace with it. I don't like technology either, but here we all are. If I learn how to communicate with it in the way that it needs to be communicated with, and as long as you've got a couple of things flowing, you've got a great business. You don't need, to be all across it, unless you're Coca-Cola. Apparently, they want to be everywhere, or Nike, or whatever.
Such a great point that if we try to do it all, learn it all, have it all, like that's where it's going to be overwhelming. If we can simplify and just focus on a small amount of things, we ideally one, but realistically, many of us can't do that. Just like make it one clear pathway, and like even when it's like tech, there's much tech out there. But if we talk about social media, pick one channel you will like being on, and just do that.
Yeah,
Is likely to create more success than trying to be across all platforms.
yeah,
So it's really being aware and listening to ourselves of what is it that we feel good doing, what would be a great starting path. Once that's rocking, you can absolutely, leverage and build out and all that stuff. But for many of us, just starting small is a really great way to go.
yeah, 100%. And taking in data all the time. So, sociologist from way back, I love data, taking data, but there's nothing wrong with it either. So, learning from your success and don't take it personally. Some some posts just go really well and others just die on their backside. So just learn from it.
Also, there's a lot of people that are watching and not commenting or liking. We can't like and comment every post we see. So we're doing that as well, right? Like, so it's not always about, I mean, obviously sometimes it's engagement, but certain topics, there's some coaches that have topics that people aren't going to want to publicly comment on. They don't want that particular topic to be something that is seen that they're interested in,
Correct.
right?
Correct. Correct. Yeah, no, I totally hear you. I totally hear you. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so we're getting to behind the psychology of it all as well, but also um, biobehavior and the psychology of science. And one of my psychology of buying, psychology of sales. One of my favorite things that I actually teach is the art of sales, which is communication, basically. So I'm totally with you on all that stuff. I find that fascinating. And also in a space, let's say, this is going to go to LinkedIn, but let's say in LinkedIn, everyone's all buttoned up and professional and they think they know everything and that's what it says on their, bios and their whatever else they got going on. But the facts are they're not that clever. Sometimes, not always, but also they're presenting something else that is not always true. And if you're good at like three to four different things in your business, that's still a fabulous business, right? So just admit what you're going to hand over to somebody else or be aligned with so they can properly help you. And then, yeah, surrender the rest and just go on and do what you're really bloody well good at.
It's usually the thing we're good at, we enjoy more than all the other stuff. And there's other people that are really good at the stuff we don't enjoy. So it's time for collaboration. It's time for bringing together people with aligned visions but different skill sets, and that's
100%.
really powerful.
And always, 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 if you get too close to anything, you can't see it anymore. So always it takes somebody else just to nourish something into that. So if you're so around it, yeah, you need to let the air out of the tires a little bit and let someone trusted come in and go, "Hmm, I reckon this might be a thing. Yeah, this might be a thing," and try to do this and then help to nourish you with even a simple plan. A simple plan will take you so much. Yeah.
Simple, simple is good.
Thank you so much, Deb.
I was going to say, I also find, sometimes we come up against blocks and what feels like real challenges, and often it's an upgrade. Often also, if as for a coach, it is an experience for us to capture how we're thinking and feeling, because it is something we can, it's a gift for what we can use in our marketing to help others with it.
Yeah.
So I feel like when we can trust in the perfection of everything coming our way, my goodness, it's a great journey.
Yeah, well said, well said. And then people are along different, different journeys as well. So 1 to 2 to 5% to 8% better in their business is transformational from where they are. Like, and you can't always make that jump if you're so close to it. So it does, yeah, take people such as yourself to come in and, yeah, look at it with different eyes and love and heart and, all the things, different ways, different tricks and tips and all the things. Thank you so much, Deb. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we end off the art of listening today?
There's so many things we could say. I'm sure we could chat for days, but I do feel that you mentioned earlier to not take things personally. And there's a book that I actually got given by a client years ago, and then it's probably the book I recommend the most to people. And I think the world would be better if everyone read it. And it's called The Four Agreements. Have you read that one?
I have, yeah, I love it. And I
So
did audio, so I'm a bit weirdo. Like I walk and I listen. Yeah.
Yeah. So to the four really quickly,
Yeah.
be impeccable with your word. Don't take things personally. Don't make assumptions, and then do the best you can with those three. What I realize, anytime I'm upset, I've usually taken it personally or I've made an assumption. It is so peaceful when we just don't take something personally and we don't make assumptions. And I just felt to share that because you mentioned not taking things personally. And in business, it's challenging. You're going to have challenges, but if you're not in business, you're going to have challenges as well. So it's all good.
Well said. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, yeah. You get what you get, and yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, you can. Yeah, exactly. You can be on your own, and there's people have a problem. Yeah, well, definitely, and well said. Definitely in and around that. And yeah, challenges, conflicts, triggers, all of the things. And the triggers often come in the same formats as well. And also, when you speak, you're not being rude, but it lands as a trigger for someone else. And you go, what's going on here? So you're totally true, like all around with all yeah, communications. But yeah, that's pretty profound work of his. There's so many, isn't there, that we can actually talk about. There's a whole other book study. Oh my goodness. It's going to be a whole other thing. Deb, you're a pleasure. I am so sorry that we're so far away because I'm in Melbourne,
I'm
but
sure we can meet in person at some point. Be
for
awesome.
sure, for sure. Yes, I've got a friend, or many that I need to get back to Sydney too. So thank you so much for being here, Deb, on The Art of Listening.
Thank you so much for having me, Linda. Really appreciate what you're doing here, and it's been fun chatting with you and listening.
Definitely good at that. Thank you. You're good.